Imagine sinking 5,000 feet below the surface. The water turns black, your ears pop, and suddenly, the squids you thought you knew aren't squids anymore. Their bodies stretch, their eyes vanish, and their limbs twist into shapes that shouldn't exist. The deeper you go, the stranger and more disturbing they become. Here's why evolution creates monsters down here. Let's step into a part of Earth almost no human will ever see. Because once you pass 4,900 feet below the surface, something strange starts happening. The cute, harmless creatures you knew from the shallows have evolved into things that look like they belong in nightmares. Their bodies stretch into impossible shapes. Their eyes balloon into giant black voids or disappear entirely. And their limbs grow in places limbs were never meant to grow. It feels like evolution itself went rogue. And the creatures hit hardest by this transformation are squids. At the surface, squids are almost charming, small, colorful, and surprisingly intelligent. But take the elevator straight down through the ocean's layers, and squids begin to fall apart or evolve, depending on how you look at it, into some of the strangest animals on the planet. To understand why squids transform this way, we first have to look at where they're found. Because none of these deep-sea monsters ever wander into the light. Everything disturbing about them only happens in the regions sunlight can't reach. This is where squids start picking up strange abilities. Firefly squids grow shimmering lights across their bodies. Glass squids turn transparent, as if their bodies are made of living glass. Still weird, but not exactly nightmare fuel. But at the end of the twilight zone, the transformation sharpens. The Humboldt squid appears. This thing is 6 feet long, 100 pounds, and armed with hooks instead of suckers. And these hooks aren't for decoration, they're for ripping flesh. Humboldt squids hunt in groups, flashing red and white patterns along their skin to communicate mid-attack. They cannibalize each other. They move in coordinated packs, like wolves. They're the first true sign that the deeper you go, the more evolution stops caring about your comfort. But even Humboldt squids are just the introduction. Go deeper into the midnight zone, and squids stop looking like anything you'd recognize. The water here is pitch black. Pressure starts crushing anything unprepared. Food is rare, and evolution begins sculpting creatures, not for beauty, not for speed, but for survival. Meet the Promachoteuthis, better known as the squid with human teeth. It's real. And no, those aren't actual teeth. They're folds of soft tissue surrounding the beak. But the result is still incredibly disturbing. The strangest part, the only specimen ever found was barely an inch long. If this is what the baby looks like, imagine the adult. We haven't found one yet. Maybe that's a good thing. Then there's the giant squid, the longest squid on Earth, 45 feet of muscle and tentacles, each sucker lined with tiny serrated teeth. This species is the classic example of deep-sea gigantism. They're so big that their eyes, the largest eyes of any animal, are literally the size of dinner plates. They use them to spot predators in the darkness, mostly sperm whales. And almost everything we know about giant squids comes from whales. We've only seen them alive a handful of times. We don't know how long they live, where they mate, or where they lay their eggs. Every giant squid we VA studied was either found dead or pulled from a whale's stomach. In a way, they're ghosts with tentacles. But even giant squids aren't the final form of this evolutionary madness. Keep descending into the abyssal zone, 13,000 to 20,000 feet down, and life changes again. The temperature is just above freezing. The pressure is extreme. Food is almost non-existent. Everything moves slowly. Everything looks like a half-formed experiment. The Asperiteuthis is a long, thin, almost jelly-like squid that barely swims. It mostly drifts. It might hunt using trailing threads that sense vibrations in the water, or not. No one really knows. But then you reach the true heavyweight, the colossal squid. Despite the name confusion, it's not the same species as the giant squid, not even close. The colossal squid is shorter, but dramatically heavier, over 1,000 pounds, sometimes even 1,300. Its tentacles are armed with rotating hooks instead of suction cups. Its body is thick like armor. And unlike the giant squid, which is built for speed, the colossal squid is built like a tank. Both, however, share one enemy, the sperm whale. These whales dive thousands of feet into the dark, hunting them. When a whale surfaces from one of these dives, you can sometimes see circular scars carved into its skin from the battles below. Inside their stomachs, scientists find squid beaks, the only part that doesn't digest. But even the colossal squid isn't the final boss. Drop below 20,000 feet into the Hadal Zone, the deepest trenches on Earth, and you enter a world almost devoid of life. But not entirely, because here lives one of the strangest creatures ever filmed, the bigfin squid. Its arms stretch up to 20 feet long, thin as wires, bent at eerie angles like an elbow joint. Thanks for watching. And if you want to dive deeper into the ocean's strangest creatures, check out the next video.